So I just watched Lego Monkie Kid, and if it wasn't for a goddamn pandemic, I could be somewhere around the world enlightening myself with culture, instead of sitting right here in front of a camera, patronisingly talking to you. Yes, you, the person who's judging me quietly from the other side of the screen. I know you're doing that. Stop it! Oh hi, welcome to So I Just Watched, the show that has expansive lore, yet is frequently poorly translated. Because I'm British, we have a reputation for just mangling everything we touch, from fossils to country borders to our own government, so you can kind of expect that here. Although I will try my best to ensure the show is not inhibited by my Britishness. Oh God, save our grand. Anyway, let's look at Lego Monkie Kid, a show that isn't even out yet. In quotation marks. Yeah, a Lego property that technically has not reached the West yet? Strange, isn't it? Legally, the only places you can watch Monkie Kid are Malaysia, Singapore, and Australia, which is weird given that this is based off Chinese folklore. You'd expect it to air there, but nope. So why am I checking this out? Well, a friend of mine will not shut up about it. And I thought, if she's constantly talking about the quality of the animation, the depth of the lore, and the fact that the six-eared macaque is awesome for hours on end, then it has to be good, right? I mean, she's got good taste in animation, and you've got to trust your friends. Unlike this show, however, you can freely buy the Lego Monkie Kid toy sets here in the West, proving that materialistic capitalism moves a lot faster than the audiovisual, which is quite mental when you actually think about it. This show has garnered a feverishly dedicated fan base thanks to word of mouth, and with the animators who worked on Rise of TMNT at the helm of it, especially considering this is the first 2D LEGO series since Unikitty in 2018, it has the potential to impress. But does it live up to the hype? Well, let's dive in and see what happens. If you want to hear some good news right off the bat, I have some. This show is not a one-to-one adaptation of the original Journey to the West source material, as noted by series writer Jeremy Adams on Twitter. This does mean that it can be its own thing and not be too constrained by what already exists, which is something I consider a positive. However, some of you who do know about the Monkey King and Journey to the West much more than I do may find this not to be to your tastes, if you want something a bit more true to source. Either way, the 45-minute pilot, A Hero is Born, wastes no time in settling its feet on the ground by supplying the stuff that you would expect a pilot to guarantee. The origins of the feud between Demon Bull King and the Monkey King, the lore settling into the modern day, and offering us a hyperactive fanboy main character who just happens to stumble across the stuff and, well, gets caught up in the bad guy's desire for it, leading him to become the titular Monkie Kid, as the legendary figure decides to mentor him on his journey. Now, given the fact that his name is MK, was predictability incarnate, plus the Deku and All Might comparisons were clear as day here, but this episode does all it can to wow the socks off. Stunning animation, phenomenal action sequences, an eclectic score, spirited voice acting, moments of emotional clarity, and a concise plot ensure that those 45 minutes went by in a flash. It sets up all the necessary characters, their motives, and the overarching plot that will serve the series going forward, which is nice, whilst making you laugh and get excited in equal measure. All the characters make an impression. MK's boisterous posturing, Pigsy's blunt venting, May's excitable yet murderous tendencies, Sandy's buff but sweet duality, Tang's calm expedition, Red Sun's driven insanity, Iron Fan's cold, witty badassery, and DBK's stern brutalism. You can't hate any of them, even the bad guys, based on what good qualities you see here. And with the sheer amount of enticement, venom, and power on hand by the voice actors, you can tell they really care about this, and it's phenomenal to hear their excitement and delivery on full show. Oh, and also their character designs are, oh my god, they're so good. Seriously, the aesthetic of this show is on point, and I love it. In one nicely wrapped package, this premiere is honestly all I wanted to see from this show given the hype, meaning that I was anticipating more of the same once it got off its high horse and treaded more familiar paths of normality. Little did I know that the standard format in comparison would feel so lackluster. This is due to a 45-minute pilot being trimmed and compartmentalized into 11-minute episodic chunks from here on out, which sadly highlights this show's weaknesses that the premiere did so damn well to hide. First of all, the pacing is too damn quick. If the intro is guilty of this, then you have to know that there is a problem lurking deeper within once you begin to dig. Whilst it is commonplace for cartoons of the modern day to have this kind of time frame, shows like Steven Universe have highlighted how easily it can be adapted to ensure that such wide-spanning stories and character developments can be utilised in this time frame and have it ebb and flow effortlessly, highlighting that there wasn't too much of a problem. Here it seems like MK and friends downed a metric fuck ton of sugar and aren't able to get off that high as they scream, shout and zoom around, whereas the very limited stories haven't got the time to explore their conflicts and character developments beyond the most banal and simplistic. The follow-ups to the premiere, Bad Weather and Duplicate Nation, blend together under this cumbersome umbrella, as MK's affable character becomes irksome and irritating fast, which when combined with Red Sun's equally maniacal tendencies in the former, it makes for an uncomfortable watch. And whilst both episodes are used to help explore the mountain of responsibility that MK will inevitably have to climb, and going through baby steps to reinforce that, I would have preferred something a little more subdued after getting kicked all over the place in the premiere. Whilst Coming Home shifts gears by focusing on May's family backstory, it falls into similar quirks, as many possibilities for fun moments are lost due to time constraints, and half the episode is left to build up to a major action set piece, much like the prior duo, to tie things together. It highlights the narratives and outcomes of these episodes as frustratingly predictable, to where even the animation's elastic facial expressions, fluidity, and occasionally snappy humour get lost amongst an earnest desire to impress the viewer and not hold up much else. Do not get me wrong, whilst the characters, animation and action set pieces are this show's bread and butter, it can't rely on them just solely when the core of the show is so bare. This could be down to taste on that front, of course, but even if it's the best qualities this show has, if they start to lose interest quickly around the negatives, then you know you have a problem on your hands, especially when it makes itself so transparently obvious what is happening, to where by the end of my 4-episode viewing, I was really unsure where I would land on my opinion of this at the end of the day. And thanks to a lack of footage by these episodes being so damn short, I'm going to have to trim and compartmentalize my analysis into a much shorter chunk than I was willing to do initially. Yeah, it's weird how my point has come full circle like that, hasn't it? So after all that, would I recommend Lego Monkie Kid? Given what I've said, this rating may have come completely out of nowhere to some of you, but meh, it's okay. Given LEGO's licensed animated properties in the past, you would have expected this to be demonstrably poor even by their standards, especially given that they've just kept it in the Far East and not released it in Europe or the Americas yet. That should be an indication that they don't want you to have this, because it's probably not going to be that good. However, that premiere definitely makes a statement from the get-go that I was honestly disappointed it wasn't able to maintain the momentum of as it went into smaller chunks. This show, however, I should stress, should not look this good. I have to keep making a point of that because rarely have I seen modern animation this lively, expressive, or fundamentally fantastic from top to bottom. When coupled with likeable characters, an intriguing story, and enthusiastic voice actors, I can't help but get excited over what this show had built for itself. However, the standard format does absolutely nothing for me, especially if it waters down what a wonderful job the pilot had done and showcases the multitude of flaws that brings the show down, kneecapping itself when it has so much potential on the table. It means I look at this show and say to myself, damn, have you run out of steam already? Then again, this could be down to how I viewed it. Because if you're treating this like the old days by watching from week to week, anticipating the next fix and then spending the runtime hyping oneself up and enjoying every cocaine-fueled monk minute, then I can totally understand where your enthusiasm is coming from. But I binged them one after the other to where even the best of its qualities faded away as I got numb to it. meaning that yes, this is not the best way to tackle such a high energy series like this, which is why I've landed on the middle of the road rating, as I can see myself enjoying this show a lot if I gave it time, instead of letting MK just worm its way into my brain and scream at me about how awesome it all is, because even that will get tiring after a while. So in a word of wise warning to all of you, if you do end up wanting to watch this show thanks to watching this video, please take it slow and you will find this program's qualities shining to you in more ways than one. If you decide to download them all off the internet and consume it in one massive Coke binge, then good luck to you. You may encounter the same problems and burnout that I did. I've been Freddie Thomas, you've been people watching, this is the CC Network, and I will see you all next time.